Though her movements are lively and quick, the halfling's green eyes give you a look that's all business. Her leather armor, softened with some sort of oil to keep a free range of movement, has more than a few pouches built into it. The right size and shape to hold particulars such as a vial of acid, a bag of ball bearings, or a handful of iron door spikes. Though you cannot see any weapons, you would wager a dragon's hoard that she has at least 3 daggers and a blowgun concealed on her person, if not more. This scene, Corey Edgecliffe, the Lightfoot Halfling Thief, is brought to you by Describe. Visit describe.com/RPGBot and use coupon code RPGBOT5 to get $5 off your first subscription payment.
Welcome to the RPGBOT.Podcast. I'm Randall James, your Halfling Rouge, and with me is Tyler Kampstra.
Hi, everybody.
And Ash Eli.
Hello, my name is Asher Fry Eli. You killed my last character. Prepare to die, DM.
Huh, wait. You had me until that last word there.
I, Randall, use assassinate. I'm not famous enough to be assassinated. Have you ever thought about that? Like, if somebody killed you, just murder.
Yeah, I guess that really is the difference. Huh. What a world. Well, there's a new dream. I would like to be famous enough that killing me would be an assassination.
And also for no one to prove it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Yes.
All right, Tyler, what's happening?
Yeah, I guess assassination is a form of flattery because it's, you're important enough that it's classified as not just murder, it's assassination. Yeah. Anyway,
exactly.
We were going to talk about something. I forget what it was.
Hey, we're going to talk about rogues. So we did an episode very recently about fighters, had a great time, talked about class features, talked about optimization. So now we're going to do the same thing for rogues. We're going to look at rogues levels 1 to 20. We're going to look at some subclasses very briefly. We're going to talk about the important features and tactics, how the class works. So if you've ever stared at the rogue and thought, this looks neat, but I am scared, don't worry, we're here to help.
Well, I don't think we're qualified to talk about that because, this isn't a makeup channel. You should really go to a makeup channel. Oh, you meant rogues, not rouge. Okay, fair enough.
Not rouge, yeah.
I'm just confused because a lot of people just type it wrong.
Look, if you write rouge on your character sheet instead of rogue, all of your sneak attack dice become D4s. I don't make the rules.
Yep.
I like that you said character seed where we were making fun of people mispronouncing rouge.
Did I say seed?
It's fine. Either way. I've heard it both ways, honestly. Just now, though.
This podcast is already off the rails.
Really is.
What we're going to do, we're just going to keep count. If somebody in the chat can keep count every time we rouge instead of rogue when we're not being ironic, that would be great.
So let's start right at level 1. You're building a fresh rogue. Just like with fighters, you got to look at your race and your ability scores first. Race, ability scores, class. Look at all 3 at the same time, jump around between the 3, make adjustments until you're happy. We're already doing rogue, so you're locked into that one. So, race, ability scores. The most important thing you need at level 1 is dexterity. And then, for the most part, the most important thing you'll ever need is dexterity. That is what fuels the rogue. It's the fast fingers. If anyone ever says, but I built a strength-based rogue, they're not playing 5th edition.
What's great about rogues is you can be an intelligent rogue or a wise rogue or a charming rogue. And all of those have examples in pop culture media. So, like, the charming rogue would be Han Solo. The intelligent rogue would be, surprisingly, Sherlock Holmes.
Brendan Fraser's character in The Mummy, would you consider that a charming rogue as well?
Oh, 100%. 100% charming rogue. Yeah. Now, wise rogue, I don't know if I've seen a wise rogue. Have you guys? Usually wisdom is a dump stat for a lot of rogues in media.
Well, let's see. So wisdom is usually like street smarts as opposed to book smarts. So like a lot of the clever but poorly educated roguish characters that you'll see in media, they're not going to catch your attention as much as the charismatic rogues. They're not going to be your Sherlock Holmes, but a lot of those background roguish characters would probably be more wisdom heavy.
Let's see. I'll think of one. You can keep talking.
Yeah,
I
you got
believe
my
in
brain
you.
going now too.
Yeah, so within the rules, there are also subclasses of the rogue that will emphasize those other ability scores. So if you want a high intelligence rogue, there's arcane trickster, there's mastermind. If you want a high wisdom rogue, really any rogue can make a lot of use of wisdom. I think the soul knife runs on wisdom, if I remember correctly. I don't quote me on that. My memory is bad.
Sorry to interrupt. I just figured it out. Wise rogue. Either of you seen Firefly?
Yes.
Malcolm Reynolds is a wise rogue. He's not exactly charming. He's not exactly intelligent, but he does have a lot of street smarts.
I'd say he's pretty charming. I mean, he was like an officer.
He puts his foot in his mouth all the time, and
Fair.
people don't like him.
Isn't that for his charm though?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, but it's like it's kind of leaning up into that fool archetype a little bit. But he is kind of a jerk most of the time. He's not really that charming, swarthy rogue like Han Solo is.
Man.
He's just kind of an ass. He's just kind of a jerk. So, yeah, I would say that's about the. If someone can find in the chat can find a better wise rogue example than that, I will give it to you. But for now, I'm saying Malcolm Reynolds is the wise rogue.
So that's our post. Like that's the thing we're going to talk about at the end. We're going to close on this and we're going to nail it.
Zoe's the fighter, Stubbins. She's not. She's not the.
Wait,
rogue.
what does that make Jane?
He's the barbarian.
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
Okay. You said soul knife potentially uses wisdom. That was your claim a moment ago, Tyler.
I am peeking at the stats. Looking again, I don't think it does.
Rend Mind forces the target to make a wisdom saving throw, but that's the only use of your wisdom modifier in the entire class, and you don't get that till 17.
Okay. It's something.
Yeah. I mean,
I believe Soul Knife uses intelligence.
I don't think it uses anything.
Oh, you may be right.
Yeah, it's just you get dice. That's the resource, and
Oh yeah, Rend Mind. The DC is dexterity based. Huh.
Weird.
Okay. Yeah.
Weird.
Wait, whoa.
Rend Mind. DC equals 8.
You're right. They make a wisdom
Yeah.
saving throw. I need to.
You
learn
can
to
be
read good.
You can be dumb as rocks and still be a soul knife. Look at you go. All right.
In their defense, like stabbing somebody in the brain through the skull doesn't need a lot of wisdom. I know where it is. I've seen it.
All right. So there are a few rogues that will use intelligence heavily. Oh, Mastermind is the one that uses wisdom because it depends super heavily on insight. So Arcane Trickster, intelligence, Mastermind, wisdom, Swashbuckler, charisma. All of the other subclasses doesn't really matter. All you need is dexterity.
Inquisitive is intelligence.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. I forget those exist.
I'm going to make the offer. I don't know that we ever need to talk about Inquisitive or Mastermind on this podcast again. That's my offer.
Hey, I've seen them played well. I have seen them played well. You can play any character well.
No, they could be a lot of fun in a game where the thing that we're trying to do isn't be really good in combat.
Yeah. Well, like a recent example, Critical Role did a spinoff thing where they played a high level prequel game called Calamity that takes place before like the world shattering calamity that made everything. And Travis played an Inquisitive rogue, and he was probably the most MVP character in that entire mini campaign, because a lot of it dealt with investigation and stuff like that and trying to solve a mystery. So in that respect, the Inquisitive rogue was the MVP. But yes, Randall's right. If you're looking to do a lot of stuff in combat, Inquisitive rogue and Mastermind rogue are not going to be as flashy.
That's about
right. But they could be super, like a ton of fun in roleplay. Like if that's what the game is going to be about, or that's what your character concept is, 100% they're purpose built. You're going to have a great time, and there's nothing wrong with the classes for that. Yeah. But at that point, you're probably also not worried about making sure that, your stat sheet is the pinnacle of perfect stat sheets for your character now, are you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, if you want to play an Inquisitive rogue, just switch to Pathfinder and play an Investigator. It's better.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Okay, so we've talked about ability scores. Looking at your race, you want something that's going to give you those ability scores you need. Innate spellcasting can be neat if the innate spellcasting lines up with your ability scores. Those are almost always charisma based unless it's from a race published in Monsters of the Multiverse or later. In that case, you get to pick. So like a swashbuckler drow can make pretty good use of their innate spellcasting, but most other rogues, the save DC is going to be really bad, so it's not going to help you much. There's a lot of other stuff that's really helpful for rogues, additional skill proficiencies, additional movement. The Lightfoot Halfling's naturally stealthy trait allows you to hide behind medium creatures, which is awesome if you're fighting in a place that doesn't have a whole lot of cover. You can be like, you're tall, or like, you're a horse, and just hide behind them. How does a 3-foot tall creature hide behind a horse? Don't question it.
Yeah, easily.
Well, I mean, they're all legs at that height. It's just long, skinny legs with like...
That is kind of true. That is kind of true.
I'm going to make a sports reference. It has been super common over the past decade in the NFL to have these really tiny running backs as almost like some of them are very good, but it's almost a little gimmicky. It is a super common play for them to just walk out and then stop walking and hide behind a lineman, and they fall for it every time.
Right.
How can a halfling hide behind a horse? I don't know. How can Sproles hide behind a lineman? I don't know. Just when they pop out, everybody's like, oh no, oh, there he goes. Oh.
That man is 30 feet, 30 yards, 30 units of measurement that way, and that's a problem for me.
Yeah. Coach is gonna be so mad. Anyway, but like in D&D instead, they stab you.
Accurate.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've covered, the racial considerations and the attribute considerations. It's a bit flexible. So should we talk about like what they get at first level?
Yeah. So rogues, like many classes, are pretty heavily front loaded. So you're going to get a bunch of stuff right at first level, and then you're going to get something complicated at second level. So like your first couple of levels, you have to learn very quickly. First thing, just the basic proficiencies, pretty simple. You get all simple weapons plus a handful of martial weapons. Is basically just rapiers and short swords. If you're going to use ranged weapons, you're going to use hand crossbows, light crossbows, and short bows. And basically, which one you use largely comes down to what is available to you conveniently and what size is your character.
Why not a longbow, for instance?
Well, they're not proficient.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll be proficient with crossbows. We'll be proficient with short bows. So with that, like, we're not going to have actually. How much damage does a crossbow do? A heavy crossbow, let's say, versus longbow.
Heavy crossbow is 1d10. Longbow is 1d8. Light crossbow is also 1d8, and short bow is 1d6.
Okay, I don't feel like we're losing much here.
Not really. If you can get proficiency in heavy crossbows from your weapon or from multi-classing, it's a minor upgrade, but it's not like absolutely essential. More likely, you'll just take gunner and get a musket, because you can be both sneaky and very loud at the same time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No.
I know that technically you can sneak attack with a musket. I wouldn't allow it. I'd be like, no, it's very loud. Are you kidding me?
You can do it once.
I mean, they know you're there. They just don't know, like, where are you in the room
Sure.
after you've run around. And
I will let them sneak attack on the first round of combat with a surprise. Sure. But after that, it's like, I feel like sneak attack with a musket doesn't make sense to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
All right.
I don't know.
Now, Stubbins is pointing out in the chat, sneak attack is poorly named. So historically, sneak attack was actually called backstab until 3rd edition. And I imagine they changed it because the game doesn't have facing. You're not doing a whole lot of stabbing things in the back. So they changed it to sneak attack. And then late in 3.5, they introduced surprise attack, which is strictly worse sneak attack. It's all of the sneak attack, except you basically can't do it in melee because you can't use it with flanking. But we're in 5th edition now. It's just sneak attack. It's pretty easy to use. Let's see. So before we get into sneak attack, skills. Rogues are the nearly uncontested master of skills. They get 4 skill proficiencies.
Bards.
I said nearly. They get
okay. Just want to make sure you weren't leaving bards out because they're in the corner getting salty like bards do.
Strumming their lute angrily. All right. So rogues get all right. Rogues, they get 4 proficiencies from their class, 4 skill proficiencies, plus thieves' tools. A normal class gets 2 skill proficiencies. That's it.
No thieves' tools.
And no thieves' tools, yeah. So between your class and your background, you will have 6 skills, thieves' tools, and any 2 of tools or languages or vehicles. So rogues come out the gate with a ton of proficiencies. They have more skills than anybody else at level 1. You can add on to that with various races like half-elf, tabaxi, kenku. A bunch of others get 1 or 2 additional skill proficiencies. So you can come out the gate with 8 skill proficiencies and have like half the skill list done. It feels real good.
If you also want to double down, so you take half elf and then you get skill, you get prodigy. That's your skill. Just get more skills. More skills.
Ash, we got to upgrade you from prodigy to skill expert. It's like prodigy minus the bad bits, and anyone can take it. Yeah, racial feats. What a time. All right, skills. We talked about weapons. Rogues get light armor. They don't get shields. Shields are awesome on a rogue if you can get them, but you don't get shield proficiency. So unless you're multi-classing, you probably won't get them. In addition to the crazy number of skill proficiencies, you also get expertise. Now, this is how rogues are the best at skills. And like they're so much better than most other classes that it actually makes some other classes hard to play in place of a rogue. I did say most. Right. So very simply, expertise doubles your proficiency bonus in a skill in which you have expertise. So like you can be proficient, and then some classes get access to expertise, or you can get it from prodigy or skill expert. At first level, it's like, okay, you get another +2, not a massive bonus, but the further you go in your career, the more that bonus stretches and the harder it is for other characters to keep up with you. You get 2 expertises. You get expertise in 2 things at level 1.
Expertise.
Sure. And you can choose either a skill or either a skill or thieves' tools for your expertise. You'll get more later in the rogue class. In the player's handbook, the only other class that gets expertise is the bard, and they get expertise in a few things at level 3. So like you get it earlier than anybody else, and late in your career, you'll have more than anybody else. Because expertise is so central to being an effective skill-based character, rogues, monks, fighters looking to stand in for a rogue very frequently take a 1-level dip in rogue just to get expertise. They actually had to add optional class features to the ranger in Tasha's to give them expertise so that they had some chance of keeping up with the rogue skill-wise. They still only get 1 expertise, but pick stealth. You'll be fine. All right, should we look at sneak attack?
Yes, let's do. It's your favorite topic, math.
I do like math. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so sneak attack. You get 1d6 additional damage sometimes. It feels like enough, right?
I don't.
It improves.
It does. So sneak attack does not actually technically require sneaking. So let's talk about qualifying for sneak attack. Conceptually, the easiest way to get it is just have advantage. So you can get advantage in a bunch of ways. Someone can help you. You can like surprise your target. You can attack while invisible. You can be hiding. There's a bunch of different ways to get advantage. That is way number 1 that you get sneak attack. Option number 2 is whatever you're sneak attacking needs to have a different creature that is an enemy of that creature. Usually that's going to be one of your party members, but it might just be an angry dog that just happens to be there. You could throw your bag of angry rats and like, look, my target is suddenly surrounded by angry rats that are also angry at them. Sneak attack. The world is your oyster. Crucially, if you go this route, you need to not have disadvantage. Pretty easy. As long as you can get advantage, you can negate the disadvantage and you're fine. Let's see. Stubbins has reminded me of Random's favorite trick of wearing a creature such as a snake around your neck, because it does count as an enemy of another creature.
So dumb. That is so dumb.
It is so dumb. It is an abuse case. But yeah, if you have a familiar, if you have a mouse in your pocket.
Okay. Familiar, okay. Snake around the neck, I would call bull.
What if it's a snake
I
familiar?
would be like, okay, if it's a snake familiar, fine. But if it's just a normal snake and it's just hanging out, it's not attacking, I'm like, no, that doesn't count.
Yeah. So I think they really did opt for like trying to keep the text here as simple as possible. There are some weird cases, like, yeah, you have a squirrel in your pocket. It counts. An invisible creature next to your target technically qualifies for sneak attack. Just appreciate that it's simple and understandable and try not to look at it too hard.
Sure.
The invisible creature makes perfect sense to me. I think if I'm the DM and you're saying that the squirrel in the pocket is also hostile against that creature, that's the thing where I'm like, I don't know. Like, has the snake bit them yet? Or are they also just acting as like a weird scaly cold necklace?
They don't need to know that the invisible creature is there. That's where it gets weird. Like, there could just be invisible creature.
That's where it gets muddied. Like, if they know the invisible creature, no, the character, the rogue doesn't need to know, and neither does the creature being attacked, which is kind of messes with my brain because the way I can wrap my head around sneak attack is that it requires a distraction of some sort.
Yeah.
for you to take advantage. And if a creature doesn't know that an invisible creature is there, how does that make any sense?
Okay, I know.
Like,
I know.
if they know that it's there, they're going to be distracted by trying to find it.
Yeah,
I get it. That makes sense.
I know we don't want to dwell on this for too long, but I have to say, it would be hilarious that the way you discover there's an invisible person in the room is if the DM's like, yeah, go ahead and roll sneak attack damage for that one.
Well, I will say and qualify that it does specifically say that an allied creature has to be in a combat with that.
It has to be another enemy of your target. It doesn't have to be your ally. Like I said, it could just be a random angry dog that showed up.
Yeah, you don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it, or yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Do not like.
I love sneak attack. I think it's great. And for some, we're not.
No, I like sneak attack too, but like, just the mental gymnastics you have to leap in order for sneak attack to make sense is just, oh god,
just all of the mental gymnastics.
I get it though. We don't want to nerf the one thing that rogues are really good at, that makes rogues good.
They have high dexterity. They're great at mental gymnastics.
Go sit in the corner with the board.
Wait, are mental gymnastics intelligence or wisdom?
I don't know. My brain hurts.
All right.
These can't.
Feel like I'm losing intelligence from this conversation.
Right,
you're almost ready for mental gymnastics. Then
we're gonna beat up some sneak attack just a little bit more. All right. So the math on sneak attack is pretty simple because like the damage just increases steadily every other level. If you look at our fundamental math article, we have a table that looks at damage over the level range. Sneak attack keeps you pretty high, like decently high. You're not going to like blow the game apart with a single rogue, but you do enough damage that it's going to feel really impactful. Notably, if you can roll with advantage or attack twice in a single turn, it increases your DPR by 50% on average. So it is really, really important. Like seriously, if you take nothing else away from this episode, it is really important that you roll 2 d20s per turn to attempt to deliver sneak attack. Like that is the most important thing you can take away from a lot of what we're going to say tonight. If you can do that, you can do great, at least in combat.
So what you're saying is offhand weapons for rogues are actually useful.
Yes, incredibly. Or you can use cunning action to hide and then attack with advantage. Either way, just get at least 2 d20s and you'll be golden. Let's see. So one thing that folks figured out not long after the 2014 PHB launched is sneak attack is once per turn, not once per round. It's once per turn, which means it can also apply on other creatures' turns. This naturally leads to
AKA attacks of opportunity, sneak attack on attacks.
Exactly.
Yes, I am familiar with this debate.
Yes. Rules as written. Yeah. What debate? It's a question of intent versus rules as written. Rules as written absolutely works. You can sneak attack on attacks of opportunity.
It's just a debate that a lot of tables do have. I know that people, especially people listening to this podcast, are going to be like, but the rules say, yeah, but as we can probably prove time and time again on this podcast, what the rules say and what the developers mean are two entirely different things.
I suppose even thematically, though, like sneak attacking somebody when I'm getting an attack of opportunity makes a lot more sense than when I'm just standing in front of them and going, ah!
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, no, see, I'm okay with it, but it is a debate that I've seen at my table and other people's tables.
That's fair. Okay. So what's the argument against allowing sneak attack on opportunity attacks or generally allowing it once per turn versus once per round?
It makes rogues really incredibly even more busted than they already are. Like, the only thing that would probably give them a run for their money is maybe paladins, because I believe paladins can also smite on an attack of opportunity. Or am I wrong about
They
that?
can, yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah.
that's a
So
consumable
paladins
resource,
can do-
though.
Yeah, that's a consumable resource. There's no consumable resource for rogues when they sneak attack. And especially if you can find a way to get more reactions for yourself, it becomes real broken real fast. And like the other argument that I've seen is that the closest comparison to the rogue is the monk. And it just makes monks even worse. It just makes monks even worse because monks can't do crap on their attacks of opportunity.
It's not
They
the
can't
rogue's
spend
fault.
key points. They can't do any
They can
of that
stun.
stuff. Right. But it's like, why are you making an already bad class worse by making their direct competition even doubly better than they already were? That's the main
No,
argument.
it was as bad as it always was. The rogue didn't do anything to it.
Yeah. The monk is the stable floor that everything else is exceeding.
Okay,
I'm just saying, these are arguments that I have heard given.
I hear that. So let's say I'm somebody at home and I'm like, I'm willing to embrace this multiple sneak attacks, one per turn instead of one per round. But what's the party going to do? What are we going to do to give me more attacks of opportunity? How are we going to get the numbers up?
Oh, you got some good options. So that bard who's crying in the corner, they can cast Dissonant Whispers, which forces the creature to run away. If you have a Battlemaster fighter, they can use Commander's Strike to basically just give you an attack. If you are hasted, you can use the additional action from haste to make your regular attack and deliver a sneak attack, and use your regular action to ready to make an attack outside of your turn. So like that one doesn't even require help. It's just I'm really fast. I'm gonna wait until my turn is done so that the cooldown resets so I can stab you again. That one feels a bit abuse casey, but
No, I love that. I'd never heard that, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Could you do the same thing with like leveled spells to cast 2 leveled spells? Because you consume the spell at the moment that you ready the action.
Yeah, you start casting the spell when you take the ready action. Like they specifically wrote it to prevent that. I had to look this up once.
They got me. Okay, but this is good. Okay, thank you.
So Stubbins just said something that I want to point out, which is one of the things that makes rogues so great and versatile and kind of a necessity on every team is that if you're not taking any rests, the rogue stands alone as king. Yeah. Depending on what subclass like some subclasses of the rogue do have consumable resources, but a lot don't. A lot of them are just like, I don't need to recover anything except for HP on a short rest. We can keep going. I can do this all night. So
rogues and champion fighters.
Mm-hmm. Well, even champion fighters, action surge and heal.
Second wind.
What is it? Second wind. Both of those are consumable resources. Rogue sneak attack isn't a consumable resource, and that's basically all you're doing every turn is sneak attacking.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Thieves' Cant. I'm going to be very honest with folks. You get Thieves' Cant at level 1. I've never actually seen it used, and I think maybe that's because the tables that I play with, that's not the kind of RP that we're getting at. We're into more of the just stabbing things.
Hacky slashy.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want folks at home to confuse. So Thieves' Cant, the idea of it is I can, in the course of a conversation, I can communicate an idea with somebody else who speaks Thieves' Cant. It takes me 4 times as long to communicate that. But anybody participating in the conversation that doesn't know Thieves' Cant doesn't know that I've passed a message in this way. Really cool for RP. There could be a lot of fun in world building. Could be a great way to reward somebody who's playing a rogue that, hey, they overhear something and maybe it's a quest line, maybe it's a useful piece of information for something the party is trying to accomplish. So there's value there, and I don't want to discount that. I also don't want folks to confuse this with real world hoboglyphs. If you're not familiar with that, it's a way of communicating. For instance, there's a nice person who lives over there, and that particular train yard's real cool. Go on the internet. Maybe we'll have a link in the show notes. Who knows?
Well, first off, I disagree. Thieves can.
You get in the corner. How about that?
Hey, you guys do all the dad jokes. I get one. I get one.
Liked it. It was good.
Thank you, Tyler.
It was full of optimism, and that's what we need in the world.
Thieves have that can-do spirit. Thieves' Cant is one of those things that's useful when it comes up, but when that comes up is really kind of dependent on the DM and the game that you're running. Sort of like Druidic, whenever we talk about druids. I will say I have seen Thieves' Cant brought up more in games than in Druidic. I've almost never seen Druidic used in any game that I have played in.
Same.
But I have seen Thieves' Cant, like especially if you're trying to get into the underworld and you're trying to talk to like this group of, ruffians and stuff. The rogue in the group will have an edge by talking in Thieves' Cant and stuff like that. When the DM remembers that is a thing.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the mitochondria of the rogue.
The what now?
It's the powerhouse of the rogue.
Those powerhouse of the cell. Oh my God. You just made me have flashbacks to my biology in high school, and now I want to kill myself.
Wow. All right. Let's talk about cunning action instead of whatever that was. All right. Okay, so cunning action allows the rogue to use their bonus action to do some stuff that's an action for everybody else. It is, importantly, dash, disengage, hide. Now, why those three things, you might ask? Dash, so you can go fast. Disengage, so you can do hit and run and melee. Hide, so you can hide, snipe, move, hide again. Some combination of those things is usually there to enable sneak attack for you. If you use your bonus action to hide and then attack, you are attacking with advantage because you're undetected by your target, assuming you didn't completely mess up the stealth check. So that gets you advantage, lets you deliver sneak attack. Now, where this falls flat for melee rogues is since this eats your bonus action, 2-weapon fighting is off the table, at least in the 2014 rules. This will be fixed in 1 D&D with the Nick weapon mastery, I think it's called. But it allows the rogues to be incredibly mobile. It allows them to consistently deliver sneak attack completely by themselves without requiring your party to do a bunch of crazy positioning for you. No snakes around your neck, none of those things. And it does feel super roguish to run around, duck behind something, pop out somewhere else, shoot a guy, disappear. Yeah, it's fun.
And you say if you're going for a range versus a melee build, I mean, to call it out, it practically doesn't matter, right? I can be a rogue, I can use a hand crossbow because the situation calls for it, that I want to be at range, in which case being able to hide and then pop out, roll with advantage, which means I'm going to get the opportunity to use my sneak attack. So that's exciting. And vice versa, if I want to switch to melee and there's nothing to hide behind, or that's just not what I'm going for right now, like you said, I can either run in, attack, and then disengage to get back out, so they have to come to me, or alternatively, I can do my 2-weapon fighting at that point. Exactly. But I'm not locked in. It isn't like I make the choice at level 1 that's this is this style of fighting. I can leverage all 3 of those tactics, and cunning action enables that.
Exactly. Yeah, and it works great through the entire level range. Those parts of the rules don't really change no matter what level you are, so you can always make cunning action and sneak attack work.
Well, and in fact,
or you could just do a swashbuckler and never have to use your bonus action to disengage.
That's true.
Just always, you just get a free disengage.
Yeah, and it's worth calling out, we were talking about the advantage of skills. So to hide, you're making a stealth check. So imagine having expertise in stealth, and then we'll talk about it later on, but we'll get to the point where you have reliable talent. Imagine how high the bar is going to be for those stealth checks. It's practically, I don't want to say it's guaranteed. There's of course, creatures are going to be able to get around this. There are creatures who also have really high rolls themselves. But when they're trying to detect you, either they have to use their action to detect you, which win, or they're using their passive, and a lot of times their passive just isn't going to beat what you rolled.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Very. All right, well, why don't we talk about subclasses? So we're getting into level 3. This is where rogue subclasses come online, and there are many, they are varied, they are stylistically and conceptually very different from one another, and they really cater to a bunch of different fantasies.
More than any other class, I feel like the rogues subclasses really change how you play it.
Yeah.
It really changes his play style. That's why a lot of rogues are very different from each other, except maybe warlocks. Warlocks are also kind of that way. But I want to do what we did last time, which is I list out the subclasses and you guys give me a yay or nay on if you should take them or not. Arcane Trickster.
Yes.
Yes.
Assassin.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would say maybe too. Inquisitive.
No. Never.
Mastermind.
No.
Phantom, I would say yes.
It's real cool. I love it thematically.
The flavor of it is just, wow,
Yeah.
it's so good.
The edgelordiest edgelord. It's so good.
It's probably my favorite. I'm being honest. Scout.
Scout.
Meh.
Yeah. It's good.
It's better Ranger.
It's better Ranger with no.
That's the Ranger's fault. That's the Ranger's problem.
Hey, Rangers are okay now.
Yeah, with Tasha's, they are better. Yes.
Yeah, Scout is good, but it doesn't give you a lot of buttons to push, so I would get bored with it eventually. But that's
it is a pretty
problem.
boring class. Soul Knife.
Yes.
Yeah. Swashbuckler. Oh hell.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely yes. Very yes.
probably the best one. If I'm not tricking myself, I would say it's probably the best one.
It's the easiest one to break at the very least.
Yeah, especially if you combine it with
almost as cool as a PF2 Swashbuckler.
Especially if you combine it with Hexblade, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Thief.
Yes. I think people sleep on Thief.
I think Thief has gotten a lot more love since Baldur's Gate 3 came out because Thief is really good in Baldur's Gate 3.
It's way better in Baldur's Gate 3 than it is in...
Oh, it is 100%. An extra bonus action. Can we get that in 5th edition, please? That would be amazing.
Yeah. Look, the Thief gets to light people on fire as a bonus action. Is that not enough for you, sir?
No, I want an extra bonus action.
All right, fine. Is that all?
But yeah, those are the subclass. That's all of them.
Okay, do we want to do the same thing as we did with Fighter? Everybody pick a subclass and we'll kind of build a character as we go?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what I'm picking.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Phantom. I have a confession to make to you guys. I have never gotten the chance to play a rogue in a game.
Really? Oh, there's so much
I have
fun.
played every other class. I have not played a rogue.
There's
Maybe
time.
one day we fix that.
Yeah.
Randall, what do you have an eye on?
You met it, so I think I'm going to go for Assassin.
All right. I could say Thief, but I feel like it'll be more useful for folks if I go for Arcane Trickster, so I'm going to say that.
Oh, God. See, the reason why I avoid Arcane Trickster is just, why would you add spells into the complexity there?
Because I am here for the chaos.
Yeah.
And also because you like wizards.
That's actually.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the real reason.
You have my number, Ash. Okay, so level 3. Randall, you're the assassin. You're looking at Assassinate. Very, very exciting feature. Very, very hard to trigger. Arguably, the biggest problem with the assassin is just how incredibly frustrating it is to get surprise in 5e. Like, we did an entire episode on surprise and initiative, and we talked about how, like, there's 2 ways to interpret 5e's surprise rules. One is everyone is surprised all the time by bats from the ceiling. The other is no one is ever surprised ever unless you go to incredible, exceptional lengths. If you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, you have probably tried very, very hard to set very, very clever ambushes and done all of that perfectly and still not had your enemies be surprised. That's a bit what
I have a tip for you. I have a tip for you in Baldur's Gate 3 if you always 100% want to guarantee a surprise round. If you send in an invisible creature to make the first attack, the game always counts it as a surprise round.
Yep.
I don't know why, but that's why Pact of the Chain on Warlock handbook that I posted is braided blue, because it's specifically blue just for the Quasit or Infamiliar that you can just send in to set up a surprise round.
Yeah, guaranteed surprise round in every combat, pretty hard to beat. I'm a big fan of just using a shovel.
A shovel?
Go on.
Oh, you mean the familiar Quasit?
No spoilers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
For later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way Assassinate works, you get advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't gone yet. And so first, just roll really good initiative. Second, don't roll bad in initiative order. And then, exactly what Tyler's saying. Like, that's not the spicy bit. That's not really the exciting bit. Any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit. So imagine I make that hit, I get my sneak attack damage, and all of that together is a crit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would change it to that if you hit a creature that hasn't acted yet, then it becomes a critical, because it would make it way more user friendly and less of a very niche ability.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why they did it this way. Like they're trying to set up, and when it goes off, it's really cool. They're setting up the idea of like there's this guard by himself, and you just want to avoid the combat. So you just send in your assassinate rogue. He stabs him for a huge hit. He's dead. You can move on.
Yeah.
And Tyler, you talk about all the time. The fundamental math of 5e expects 3 rounds of combat, right?
Yeah.
And so potentially for one of the 3 rounds, this core feature you're getting at 3rd level has a high likelihood of being meaningful because you're probably going to roll pretty well. You've got a good modifier to your initiative. If you're playing in a game or you played with this DM before, and this DM is one of those DMs, it's like most combat, if you're lucky, we'll get it over with in 15 rounds, immediately waters it down. Because like what you do, it's meaningful then, and then you just have a regular rogue running around doing stuff. Maybe this wasn't your best choice.
I will say, we've spent an inordinate amount of time talking about the assassin features. I don't think we have time for that, so let's just move on to the other features that we're getting.
I'm looking
at my choice.
We're like 40 minutes in and we're at level 3. We might need to make this a 2-parter.
I'm thinking we're going to have to make this a 2-parter. Rogues are a little bit more complicated than fighters.
That's fair. Honestly, everything's a little more complicated than fighters.
That's why we started with fighters.
Fighters are baby's first D&D class.
Honestly, maybe fighters taking so long should have been the sign that a lot of these are going to be 2-parters.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Ash, what are you getting as Phantom?
I get 2 features as Phantom. The first is Whispers of the Dead, which is a great feature. We talked about how rogues are skill monkeys. This just gives them more of that because now I get to pick a skill proficiency that my spirits give me, and I can change it on a short or a long rest.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
You get to borrow skills from dead
so
people.
Good.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. It's so good. And then Whales of the Grave, also a very cool feature and also pretty good, which is when I deal my sneak attack damage, I can choose to apply damage to a second creature within 30 feet of the first creature. It's half my sneak attack. I roll half the number of sneak attack dice for my level. So that just means I get to roll again.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's not only that, it's necrotic damage. So it's almost kind of better than what my normal sneak attack is, because my normal sneak attack, if I just don't have a magic weapon, it's going to still do the same basic damage as my weapon. But this counts as necrotic damage, which is good in certain situations. And I can use this feature a number of times equal to my proficiency bonus. This is a feature that's going to be kind of underwhelming at 3rd level, but it's going to get crazy real quick.
Yeah.
When I heard Whales from the Grave, there was a brief moment where I imagined more like the
Hey, that's a way you could play the Phantom. Maybe you're haunted by unearthly whales.
I wonder if
we've all been there.
I wonder if our audio processing is going to filter that out. It's going to be really weird.
Please don't.
Why is there dead air here and they're making whale jokes? If it does get cut out, folks at home, they're doing whale song. All right.
No,
I'm trying to make it as obvious as possible so that it doesn't get cut out.
Is it working? Poor Dan.
I don't know.
We'll find out later.
We'll find out. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan.
All right. Okay, so Arcane Trickster. I get to make more decisions. So I get a total of 3 cantrips, one of which is Mage Hand. A trap that I see a lot of folks falling into with the Arcane Trickster is taking attack cantrips and taking True Strike. You can't deliver sneak attack with a spell attack. There are spells that let you make weapon attacks. We'll get there. So don't take Firebolt, don't take Poison Spray, none of those things. They will not help you. They are not worth your time. True Strike gives you advantage on your next attack before the end of your next turn, which means you are making an attack every other turn, which is not how rogues are supposed to work. That's what Cunning Action is for.
Please don't ever take True Strike. Yeah. Please don't ever take True Strike. It makes me sad.
As a rogue,
I have not found a way to make it good. Yes. Yes, actually, as anyone.
Never. It's not good on anyone.
Yeah.
It would be good if you could cast it as a bonus action, but you can't.
It would be good if there were meaning spell attack spells beyond 2nd level. Anyway, I also get Mage Hand Legerdemain, which lets me do extra spicy things with the Mage Hand. Namely, the hand is invisible. Normally, Mage Hand, you get like a ghostly hand, which I've always imagined just like, you know, the like old school cartoons where every cartoon character had white gloves for no reason? Just in my head, that's what Mage Hand looks like. Mage Hand Legerdemain, it's invisible. Yeah. You can retrieve objects, you can pick locks, you can disarm traps, and you can move it as a bonus action, which is really great because it means you can use it in combat to like float around and cause mischief while you're stabbing people. You get a couple of first level spells known. Most of the rogues or most of the arcane trickster spells have to be either enchantments or illusions, so your options are very, very restricted. You get a handful of unrestricted spells. One of them should be find familiar, because having a familiar gives you a convenient creature that allows you to deliver sneak attack. If you get an owl, they have flyby, so they can fly in, take the help action, fly safely out of reach without provoking an opportunity attack. Now, the only problem there is familiars act on their own initiative. A lot of people forget this. Familiars act on their own initiative. So if you're really far apart in the initiative order, that tactic is going to break. Ideal is basically you're back to back. You probably won't get that lucky in most encounters. So just, do your best. Other first level spells, see our rogue spell list breakdown. It'll be great.
I will say a way to handle that, though, is have you or your familiar delay your turn.
That's true. Well, so you can delay your action. So like you could delay the action to dash or to help as a rogue.
No, that's holding an action. Can't you just delay your whole initiative?
Not in 5e.
Really? Because I've always played that way.
That is a whole.
I've always played that way.
I think some tables allow that. Like that's not a crazy
Yeah.
thing for tables to allow, but it isn't rules as written.
Yeah. Weird. I thought it was. Okay. Shows what I know. I shouldn't be on this podcast.
Look, I have looked for that rule in the player's handbook so many times, like woken up in the middle of the night, be like, why haven't I been delaying my initiative? This would make things so much better. Oh yeah, it's 3rd edition. That's why. And then I go back to sleep.
So, Ash, I wake up every day having that thought.
I think it makes no sense to disallow it, in my opinion. That's my spicy take. Continue.
That's a whole separate episode.
I think I just saw Tyler's face go red for a second.
It's complicated. I'm resisting the urge to sidetrack.
We'll save it. We'll save it for later.
All right. Okay, so level 4, we have our subclass features, we have our subclasses, we've got sneak attack. We're feeling like a real rogue. We get our first ability score increase, or feat. Now, fundamental math expects us to increase our dexterity to keep on the attack AC curve. There are so many feats that will let you get a +1 ability score increase. If you're an elf, there's elven accuracy, skill expert. I can't remember if Prodigy does. I don't think it does. There's a lot of them, is my point. If you come out the gate at level 1 with 17 in dexterity, at level 4, you can take a feat that gives you a +1 dexterity increase and still hit 18 dexterity and get some extra spicy stuff. So, guys, what are you looking at for level 4?
For ability score improvement or feat?
Yeah.
I'll probably do the boring option, do ability score improvement.
Okay.
Bump up my dexterity.
I think I'm going to go for elven accuracy. We'll just blindly assume that I'm an elf of some variety, elf, half elf.
Didn't you take elven accuracy last time too?
Did I? No, Randall did.
Yeah, actually, that's
Randall
right.
did.
Okay, so arcane tricksters, since I get access to illusion spells, I have options for things that can make me invisible, that can help me hide easily beyond just cunning action. So I have easy access to sources of advantage very consistently. Rolling 3 dice with my attacks makes it dramatically more likely that I'll crit, dramatically more likely that I'll just deal a regular hit. Missing is no longer a problem, basically, and also I get that +1 dexterity increase, so I'm rocking 18 dexterity, and anytime I have advantage, I am doing just great.
Okay, I'm going to lead off my answer with a question.
Okay.
If I take crossbow expert, when you use the attack action and attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use a bonus action to attack with a hand crossbow you are holding.
Yes.
Hand crossbow is a D6 for damage?
Yes.
Is it a D6 or a D4? I always forget.
Oh, it's definitely not a D4.
That would make it analogous to using
a dagger,
which I want better. I'm trying to beat that.
Crossbow expert is an interesting choice.
It's a D6.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have an ally in melee with your target, or if there's another enemy of the creature, yada yada, then it does give you a second opportunity to deliver a sneak attack. So you get 2 shots with a hand crossbow effectively. Now there's a question, do you want to do that? Or do you want to use cunning action to hide and then just attack with advantage?
with my hand crossbow. Well, attacking twice feels slightly better because I could hit twice.
That's true. Yeah, and since it's not 2-weapon fighting, you do get to apply your dexterity modifier to both attacks.
So all of these things feel good. I'm not saying it's the best option, but it's the one that I'm making in this podcast.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. So that level 4, that caps off tier 1 for the rogue. So we're looking at, we've got our first feat maybe. We have like the really core features of the rogue. We really do feel both like our class and our subclass. We've got that first round of subclass features under our belt that really starts to distinguish us from each other type of rogue. But at the same time, like as we're adding all of these features, the core gameplay loop of the rogue really doesn't change that much for the most part. In combat, your go-to tactic is still, for ranged builds, cunning action, hide, and then attack. For 2-weapon fighting builds, you get into melee, you attack. If you hit and deliver sneak attack, then you disengage. If you don't, then you make your second attack and hope for the best. Your subclass might offer some extra options. Thieves will be throwing alchemist fire on people. Soul Knives will be using their like weird psychic blade nonsense. Arcane Tricksters might be using Mage Hand Legerdemain, be like, oh yes, my hand is over here, like disarming this trap while I'm fencing with monsters, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, Randall, our assassin, is going to be trying to assassinate people. And Ash, I don't know, do you speak to the dead in combat? Or is that reserved for short rests?
I send them to attack people when I attack people. That's what that extra sneak attack to someone who's near me is just like, I stab them, and then my grandmother goes over to another person and goes, ooh.
Is it always your grandmother? Does she have cookies?
Yeah, probably. No, you can't have any.
Aw.
Sorry.
Nuts.
So let's look at level 5. So we're getting into tier 2. Level 5 is where every martial class except the rogue gets extra attack. For most other classes, this is usually like roughly double your damage output because you're going from I get 1 attack that does X damage to I get 2 attacks that deal X damage. The rogue has increased consistently with sneak attack. We do get another D6 of sneak attacks. So we're doing 3d6 now, and like 4d6 plus dexterity damage with a short sword or whatever. Still feels pretty good. It's not as big of a jump as other classes, but it does still feel pretty good.
We also get uncanny dodge.
Yeah. Oh,
the
man.
consolation prize.
Uncanny dodge is not a consolation prize, sir.
Would you trade me an extra attack if you gave up uncanny dodge? I'm your DM. I'm going to allow you to do that.
As a rogue, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Okay, so there was a very brief period during the 1D&D playtest. I think it was between like UA 6 and 7, where everyone was looking at like monk, ranger, rogue. Those are your 3 expert like martial classes, and what makes each of them special. And the answer to what made them special is the rogue was the tank, and it was almost exclusively because of uncanny dodge. So uncanny dodge, as a reaction, when you're hit by an attack from a source you can see, you can just have the damage. So massive increase in the rogue's durability. As long as your AC is good enough to hold up to like most attacks, you're not a fighter. You're not going to have 20 AC unless you've got a bunch of magic items or you multi-class. If your AC is passable so that some attacks are missing you, it is very frequent that you'll only be hit once per turn. Yeah. So you can, for huge sections of the game, effectively double your hit points thanks to uncanny dodge. Now, that does preclude you from doing sneak attacks as a reaction, but like, do you want to do damage or do you want to live?
Yeah, a dead rogue does less damage than a live rogue at the end of the day.
Unless
and also, what's great about an uncanny dodge, what's great about an uncanny dodge is you can do it against anything you can see, which is better than even barbarians. So like Dragon's Breath attack, uncanny dodge. Circle of Death, uncanny dodge. Mind Blast from an Illithid Mind Flayer, uncanny dodge.
Now, I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to go double check the text. I'm pretty sure it does have to be an attack.
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
It's an attack. So spell attacks count. So like you can uncanny dodge Firebolt or whatever, or Chromatic Orb. There really aren't that many spell attacks. Mostly it's going to be like weapon attacks, great big teeth, pointy things stabbing you, stuff like that you're going to dodge.
Fair enough. I'm wrong then.
Yeah. For everything else, there's evasion, which we get in a couple of levels.
That is what I was thinking of.
All right. Level 6, we get more expertise. Look at us go.
Woo!
Yeah, so we get another 2 expertise choices. So by now, our proficiency bonus is +3. So that extra +3 feels pretty impactful on top of skill proficiency with 4 expertise things: stealth, thieves' tools, sleight of hand, deception. If you pick those 4, doing great. You're doing a great job as a rogue. You can lie, you can cheat, you can steal, you can backstab. Things are going.
Backstab in 5e, but
that's true.
I'm with you.
Look, I can sneak attack you from behind, which is
That's
also
fair.
from the front. Don't question it.
Where's my? I don't know what backwards is.
Yeah, it's like old school boomer shooters where everything was a sprite that was made to look vaguely 3D, but they're always facing you no matter what.
Yes.
It's like that's how D&D works. Yeah. All right, and then level 7 we get evasion. So in previous editions, evasion was a much lower level feature. Like I think in 3.5 it was like level 2 or 3. And because evasion was so good, it made that a pretty popular multi-class dip. So they have postponed it all the way to level 7. But like you've got proficiency and dexterity saves. You've probably got a +4 in dexterity. So you're looking at +7 to dex saves, unless you have other stuff going on. And then if you pass on a dexterity save, you don't take damage for half. So you can dodge fireballs, most breath weapons. Weirdly, some breath weapons are like con saves now.
Yeah. Like poison damage or whatever.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense.
It does. But still, like, that is a great way to avoid a bunch of damage. Between evasion and uncanny dodge, you have 2 really good ways to mitigate incoming damage, which is great because rogues have D8 hit dice, so they're a little frail, especially in light armor.
Yeah. Rogues are really frustrating to pin down as a DM.
Yeah.
So let's count it. At level 7, you get bonus action, disengage, and dash.
Mm-hmm.
You get to have damage that comes your way, and then you get to ignore any dexterity saving throws if you roll well enough.
Yeah.
But they get more at even higher levels, which we'll get to, which is just rogues are frustrating.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So I haven't looked in a little bit, but I'm scrolling back to my subclass features. If you're playing an arcane trickster, don't forget to check your spells table, because your spell casting keeps improving as you gain levels. At level 7, you start getting 2nd level spells. These include some great options like invisibility. You also get access to one of my personal favorite spells for the arcane trickster, Shadow Blade. Now, this is super easy to overlook. This came out in Xanathar's before we had the Bladesinger Wizard, so a lot of people looked at it and it's like, this is on the wizard spell list. Who is this for? Bonus action, you create a sword made of solidified gloom. It's basically a fancy rapier that you can throw that does psychic damage, and it returns to your hand after you throw it, so you have a ranged weapon and a melee weapon all in one. It does really, really good damage on its own. It can apply sneak attack, and if you're in dim light or darkness, you get advantage. So there I go with Elven Accuracy and Shadow Blade, and I walk at you in the candlelight, ready to do damage.
It's pretty great.
A rogue named Angst.
So,
isn't that every rogue?
That's fair, actually. Okay.
Like, we have to give them extra names just to distinguish them, like Angst Bob the Rogue.
Yeah.
So we're at 8th level.
Yeah.
Feat time.
Time for feats. Yeah. All right. Yeah, what's everybody looking at?
All right. I didn't take the ASI last time. I'm going to take the ASI this time.
Good choice. How about you, Ash?
I think I'm either going to do alert or mobile.
Interesting.
Both of those.
Now, why those?
Alert just because higher initiative is just always good. And mobile because it allows me to get faster, which makes me even harder to pin down. And especially if I'm going to be melee attacking a lot, which I plan on doing with this rogue, then I want to use my bonus action for other things besides disengage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can just attack and get out of dodge.
Yeah, mobile is solid if you want to be in melee. It does remove the need to cunning action disengage, so you could do 2-up in fighting or whatever subclass features you've got. Yeah, good choice.
The other one that if none of those really appeal to me for whatever I'm going for, Lucky is just always a good solid choice.
Oh, yeah. Lucky, the I don't know what to choose feat.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think I'd probably I'm leaning more towards mobile is what I would probably pick.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to take skill expert. So skill expert gets you +1 in any one ability score, 1 skill proficiency, and expertise in one more thing. Like that all feels very, very roguey. Now that's going to leave me at 19 dexterity, but most of the time I'm going to be attacking with advantage. And with elven accuracy, like the difference of a +1 attack bonus really isn't going to hurt me. Plus, if I can find another good half feat for later, I'll be in really good shape. Or I can just split an ability score increase.
Yeah, makes sense.
Since unfortunately, I don't think you can take skill expert a second time, as fun as that would be.
You might be able to. I don't know.
All right, so let's look at level 9. So we're getting another round of subclass features here. What's everybody getting?
Okay, I'll be mechanically disappointing first. Okay. Infiltration expertise. So I can create a false identity. Mind you, I can't become someone else. Like I can't be the Lord Baron and pretend to be the Lord Baron, but I could be like the Lord Baron from, a place you've never heard of, dress the part, act the part, look the part, come in and everybody look, yeah, totally. It's the Lord Baron, let him in. He's obvious. He doesn't need to steal our jewels, let him in. A lot of fun for roleplay. If you have missions that are more complicated than kill this person and then kill that person, probably those quests could be enhanced by having this ability as far as actually making me, helping me kill people faster in combat.
All right. How about you, Ash?
I got a very complicated feature. It's called Tokens of the Departed.
Ooh.
Which is when a creature dies within 30 feet of me, I can use a reaction to create a tiny trinket of their soul determined by the DM, and I can hold up to as many trinkets equal to my proficiency bonus. I can also use my token to do one of 3 things, which is while a token is in my possession, I have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws. When I deal sneak attack damage on my turn, I can destroy one of my trinkets that's on my person and then immediately use Wails from the Grave without expending a use of that feature, which is that one that allows me to give damage to another creature 30 feet away from me, which just allows me to do that more often, which is great. Or as an action, I can destroy one of my soul trinkets no matter where it's located. When I do so, I can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to me and answers in a language it knew in life, and it's under no obligation to be truthful, unlike Speak with Dead. And it answers as concisely as possible. So yeah, just an all-around cool feature.
Yeah. I love that one. So this is a feature that falls prey to the bag of rats trick.
Mm-hmm.
Any creature you see dies within 30 feet and you spend a reaction. So yeah, pull out your bag of rats, 1 rat, dead. Soul token. Just load up your soul tokens until you hit your proficiency bonus and just Wails from the Grave whenever you like.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You basically get if you get as many tokens as you can, like you get your max tokens, you're essentially doubling the amount of Wails of the dead that you can use.
Yeah. So and I have this vision in my head of like you waking up every morning and it's like everybody's doing their prep for the day and you're just like, oh, sorry, rat number 1. Sorry, rat number 2. Yeah.
So I'll point out
sociopath.
I'll point out you can have a number of tokens equal to your proficiency bonus. It's not you can create that many tokens per day. It's you can have that many at a time. So after every combat, just refill your tokens.
Yep.
It's not supposed to be that
broken.
Easy. Yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah, this is why I always tell people, like, hey, if you're writing homebrew, use the bag of rats trick. If you can break it with the bag of rats, either friendly or hostile or indifferent, then it is not balanced.
So would you say this is not balanced?
Definitely not the way they intended it to be, at least. I don't think they expected you to use Wails from the Grave literally every turn.
And now I can.
Well, the great thing, if you spend Wails from the Grave to kill something, you just get another Wails from the Grave.
Yep. Yep.
It's what we call a self-eating watermelon.
What?
It's real good.
Don't think about it.
Okay. I won't.
What do you get, Randall? I mean, Tyler.
All right. So I get Magical Ambush. At 9th level, if you're hidden from a creature when you cast a spell on it, The creature has disadvantage on any saving throw it makes against the spell this turn.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm not a wizard. I'm not going to have 20 intelligence or whatever. So my save DC isn't going to be fantastic. More likely you're going to have somewhere like 14, 16, somewhere in there. Magical ambush is huge because the disadvantage is a little more than a -3 penalty. So for a lot of creatures, like that's going to be enough that your spells are as reliable as a wizard. Curiously, the way this is worded, like the creature probably only gets disadvantage on the first turn. Like it's worded very strangely. You have to be hidden to get the benefit. You might read it to say, like, if you are hidden on a later turn, they then start getting disadvantage on saves again. So, like, if you cast Hold Person and then hide, it is not intended to work that way. I'm almost certain. I'm pretty sure it's only intended to work on the initial save. But, like, if you can hit something with Hold Person, keep it paralyzed for one turn, and then on the next turn, automatically crit, you're probably doing okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So level 10, the last level in tier 2, rogues get an additional ability score improvement. So we talked about this with fighters. Fighters and rogues are the only classes that get ability score improvements at additional levels. Fighters get 2 extra, rogues get 1 extra. There's room in your build for feats. There's room for shenanigans. There's room to customize. There's room for fun. So what are you guys thinking? Last feat, level 10, very last level of tier 2 before things start getting insane at level 11.
Probably going to max out my dex at this level.
Okay. How about you, Randall?
I'm really enjoying hiding and shooting at things at this point, and I'm doing that quite often with advantage. I'm going to go and go sharpshooter.
Okay. All right. So that's an interesting choice. If you can get advantage consistently, it will do a good job offsetting most of the penalty from sharpshooter. If you multi-class or take fighting initiate to get fighting style archery, you got that +2. Between that and advantage, sharpshooter is basically negated. It's almost free damage. It is a big gamble, and as we established on the fighter episode, you do love a gamble. So you're now gambling not just the sharpshooter damage, but also sneak attack.
The sneak attack damage, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So when you hit, it's going to be a lot of damage. When you don't hit, it's going to be less damage.
Yeah, but it's going to be so special when I do hit because of all the stupid times I choose to use the sharpshooter feature.
Yeah. Well, you do also have crossbow expert. So even if you're not hiding or whatever, you do still have 2 chances to hit. So yeah, you might be in good shape. Yeah. How about you, Ash?
Oh, I already said that I was going to max out my dexterity at this level. What about you? What about you, Tyler?
I think I'm going to split an ability score increase. I'm going to do 1 in Constitution, 1 in Dexterity to get me to 20. And then eventually I'll take Resilient Constitution so that I'm better at concentrating. I don't have a whole lot of spell slots. And if I cast Shadow Blade and then immediately lose concentration, I will be sad.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for being with us on part 1 of this. Yeah, how the heck do we build a rogue? We're going to be right back with you with part 2.